Let's go back in vintage history. Classic cinema TV. Wendy's Classic Corner. Wendy's Classic Corner.
Hi, this is Wendy from Wendy's Classic Corner, and today we're in the beautiful Spring Hill to visit somebody very special to me, world-renowned musician, music historian, composer. There's no end to the things that my friend Tom Roberts can do. Let's go back. We're going to go back about a century in time. We're going to check out some really neat antique things. So come on and join me and let's check it out. Hi, this is Wendy from Wendy's Classic Corner, and today I'm with my very good friend Tom Roberts, and also a talented musician and music historian. Tom, could you tell us a little bit about your background? I know you have a very multi-dimensional background, and we'd love to hear a little bit about it.
So just a little, if you would like to find out all about me, you could go to my Wikipedia page, but I've done everything I set out to do, and I had really huge goals for myself, and I lived and performed in New Orleans. I toured the world with Leon Redbone. I did major motion pictures when I was living in New York. I spent a great deal of my youth really trying to get away from Pittsburgh because I couldn't find the things that I really wanted here. And now that I'm here, I am doing my best to share all of the things that I've loved with Pittsburgh.
Before I can ask you my next question, you have a Wikipedia page? Is that true?
I have a Wikipedia page.
I'm so looking that up.
Go look it up.
As far as
and all the rest of you guys should look it up too.
As far as what you're trying to do for us in Pittsburgh, from what I understand, you're trying to bring some of the lost jazz to Pittsburgh, to Pittsburghers. How are you doing that?
Go into public places, play things from the 78s, teach people about stuff. And so I've been doing this now for the last 2 or 3 years. During the pandemic, we would do it via Zoom, and now it works really well to do things on Zoom because you can get people from all over the world. And I really do have people coming in from all over the world to listen to this amazing collection of recordings that I have up here in Spring Hill.
So if somebody was watching this program and they wanted to join the Hot Club and they wanted to participate in this, how would they do that?
So you can go to Facebook and you can just sign up for the Hot Club of Pittsburgh and you'll see where we'll be doing these things. You could also go to tomrobertspiano.com, which is it's under construction right now. So Facebook at the moment is the best way to find out about this.
And I think you also have, on top of that, you also have a Louis Armstrong program that you do.
Oh, I have a great Louis Armstrong program. It's called Why Louis Armstrong Matters.
And you sometimes do these for libraries. Where do you show this program?
Anywhere anyone will pay me to do it.
And if somebody would want to see that, they could request it perhaps. They could reach you on your website. They could reach you on your Facebook page.
That's right. TomRobertsPiano.com.
So, Tom, I was hoping that you might be able to show us a couple of your records. Show us, you have a lot of old Victrolas, you have a cylinder, you have a lot of these very vintage pieces, and I think it would be really a great interest to our viewers. Would you mind demonstrating some of this for us?
For you? Of course.
Thank you, Tom Roberts.
You're very welcome.
So here we are over here with Tom Roberts again. We're now going to check out one of his machines, his Edison machine. Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this machine?
So this is a machine that I acquired fairly recently, and you can pan in earlier, but Wendy, do you notice what it says there? Lechner and Schernberger, Pittsburgh, PA. And if you notice, there's no H on that Pittsburgh. So this is an Edison machine. Edison machines use a different kind of format than most records that people would be aware of these days. Hold this, please. I'll show you an Edison. Look how thick that record is. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Look at this. These records are very thick. And the thing about these Edison records are the sound is recorded going up and down. A modern record, left to right, the vibration is captured in the groove in the sides of the wall. The vibration on Edison's are in the bottom.
What is it made of? It's like a metal. It sounds like a metal almost.
I think it's like slate. It's pretty heavy, and Edison's are fairly indestructible.
Then why couldn't I touch it?
Just because.
Well, would you be so kind as to show us a demonstration of it?
Of course I will. Why do you think you're here? So, Wendy, very few people get this honor. Maybe your nephews get to do this. But could you crank the Victrola? There's no electricity involved. As Vanna cranks the Victrola, you will see that this is where all the power comes from. Simply from cranking it, just like that. That should be enough. There's a little lever here that you just flip, and it allows the record to start spinning. You turn this in, and it goes to the record. And the sound, there's no electricity whatsoever involved in this. This record we're going to hear is from 1918. This is the Johnson Jazz Blues, because it was originally called jazz music, Jass. And do you know why they changed it from Jass to Jazz?
No.
Because naughty kids were tearing off the J's, and they would, seriously. So this is 1918. Give a listen to this. And it goes on for 4 minutes, and we're going to sit here and listen to the whole thing. I kid. So there's your Edison, and maybe we could get in here deep. You can actually see there's a physical horn here. The sound goes into that horn. And that's where the amplification is coming from. We don't need no microphone or electricity. When the power goes out, I've got music up here. Look at that. It's great. Now, Edison's, their playback was through this reproducer here. This is a diamond. And this diamond picks up those vibrations at the bottom of the record. That was Edison's machine. Now,
So how much does it cost to replace one of those diamonds?
I haven't replaced it yet, but I'm going to be getting them replaced. Probably about $80.
Oh.
They're not like your 14 karat. They're not like Marilyn Monroe quality diamonds. They're Edison Victrola things. You see?
You buy them on Amazon.com.
Not really.
So now we're over here with Tom Roberts again, and we have a new machine. Tom, could you tell us a little bit about this machine?
This is the Brunswick Altona. Now, remember, we talked about like the Edison machine. If the only records you could play on the Edison machine were Edison's. You couldn't play any other company on that. But this machine, this was audiophile equipment from 1919. And we're going to listen to a few records on this thing. Same idea. If you notice, this head, this reproducer is very complicated. There are 3 actual reproducers here for playing different formats. What we're going to hear right now is, this is a recording, I think, from 1908. And same idea. No electricity. You just wind it up.
What are some of the different formats they would have?
Well, we're going to see them here in a second. So we saw the Edison. This is a lateral disc, which would have been Harmony, which is associated with, I think, OK Records. There was some records where the vibrations were captured. They'd go this way. whereas in the Edison they go that way. And we'll look at some other ones here. So I think this is the first recording of the famous Maple Leaf Rag. This is Wes Osman, who was a banjo virtuoso extraordinaire, and this is his recording of the Maple Leaf Rag. Give a listen. This is Enrico Caruso. This is from 1908, from Victor Records. We'll look at some other records. You'll see this is the Victor Batwing, which means it's an acoustically recorded thing, meaning the way this was recorded is someone would stand in front of a horn, and the physical vibration created by their voice was etched into this record. And so when you put the needle back into the groove of this record, this person comes back to life. You think about it, the thing that makes my voice sound is my breath. Breath, they call that prana in the Eastern things, which is simply the life force. The life force is captured into this record. Wait till you hear this. Now the orchestra is further back from the horn. Caruso is standing directly in front of the horn. And here he comes. Say, your wife is sitting in the other room. Honey, turn that down! You have a volume control, which basically comes from this idea of stuff a sock in it, Wendy! You would stuff a sock in the horn, and it would make it quieter. Well, here's the good part. All right, so Wendy, we just saw a record played with this steel needle. Here's the steel needle. Touch it. Just touch it. Touch it. No, touch the tip of it. Ow!
Oh.
Yeah, do you feel that? Look how sharp that is. Ouch! You could put your eye out with that. This is dangerous. But this, one of the reasons why most people think old records sound is these were only intended to be used one time for a play.
Wow.
You play this one time. They're not expensive, but you would just simply play it one time. Now, that was the format that was used by OK Records and Victor Records and Columbia Records, the giants. And everyone else had to come up with their own way of reproducing music differently because they had the copyright. So now we talk about Pathé Frères, Pathé Brothers. This is a record. All right, we're gonna test Wendy here. What did we use to make the sound on the Edison?
A diamond.
A diamond, very good. She's very smart. This uses a sapphire.
Ooh.
So the head here will rotate. It can move this way, and the tone arm telescopes. Now, the beautiful thing about the sapphire is you do not need to change the needle all the time. And this is the Satanic Blues by the Cinco Jazz Band.
What's that, a rooster?
That is a rooster. That is the symbol of Pathé Records. Now, the problem with these records is sometimes people would get and they say, "Oh my God, we got a great record, let's put it on the Victrola," and they play a steel needle on it. "Oh, it sounds terrible." It's because they've ruined it. They've scratched out the life force from it. Wait till you hear how loud this is. There's, again, no electricity involved whatsoever.
But how do you know which needle to use for which record?
Well,
Like if I just went out and got a record, how would I know?
I think it requires a lot of just,
Trial and error?
not necessarily trial and error, but just doing some study. But Pathés, you could only play these Pathé records using this sapphire.
The sapphire.
I think back in 1919, people were aware of what to use for these
Okay.
records. If you had an Edison, you would only play Edison records. If you had a Pathé machine, you would only play the Pathés on it. That's the beauty of the Brunswick Altona. Look what it says here. All phonographs in one.
Nice.
Ooh, they're all here.
Very nice.
So here is the Satanic Blues. This is on Pathé. This is also a vertical recording. Let's see what it does. Hold on. Oh,
Didn't sound very satanic.
it's not, because there's not enough weight. Sorry.
We have so much fun at Tom Roberts playing records.
I know.
So we're back over here with Tom Roberts again. We're going to be checking out now the cylinder machine, which is even older than the Victrolas. It's even before that time. So tell us a little bit about what this cylinder machine
So the
plays.
cylinder machine. This is a cylinder. Put your fingers, stick your fingers.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of cool, huh?
Yes.
And this is the same principle of the person stood in front of a horn, sang into it or spoke into it or whatever, played into it, and the vibrations were captured in the groove. And this is exactly the same idea, but there's more time on this 4-minute format. And we're going to listen to What Happens When Klezmorim Go Bad. This is Harry Raderman and his orchestra doing the Yellow Dog Blues. And it sounds really good if you're right in front of it. It was meant to be listened to kind of in front.
And what year would the people have these things? Like what time frame were these popular?
This recording is from like 1921, but people had, the cylinders go back to the 1890s. I have some cylinders in here as well that are from 1908. Wait, listen here. This is the whole thing. This is his shtick. That's entertainment.
So not only is Tom Roberts a music historian, he is an excellent, renowned piano player. And
Internationally renowned.
Internationally renowned. And Tom, I was wondering if you would play, I have to admit I don't know a lot about jazz, but
Well, this-
one of my favorite
this
jazz
is
pieces
your
that
favorite
you play is, well, I'll let you say what it is,
Okay.
by Mr.
James Booker.
And what is James Booker?
James Booker is called the greatest gay, black, one-eyed, junkie piano genius from New Orleans. Here we go.
The best song ever. So here we are again with Tom Roberts, and this time we're in front of his very impressive record collection. There has to be thousands.
This is just partially it. There's more over on that side. These are predominantly jazz 78s here.
78s.
And these are all 78s. These are shellac based, incredibly fragile. Some of the things that we listened to earlier today, these are the ones that I will not play on any of the vintage machines, because any time that you play it on a vintage machine, there's going to be a little detriment. Something is going to be damaged. Those heavy steel needles, ancient technology does not necessarily take good care of these things, particularly some of the more valuable things. And you wanted to know?
Yes. First, I want to know, what time frame would you say are these particular records?
These are from like 1914 to about 1950.
But what we want to see, I think, is maybe some of the artists that were from Pittsburgh at the time that maybe people aren't very familiar with, that you're trying to promote and tell to the community.
Good job. So Pittsburgh has thrown away almost all of its musical history. It's like if it didn't happen before 1960, no one's aware of it. And it's ridiculous how much stuff there is available and how many famous people came from here and are very important that we are simply not acknowledging. And I have quite a few of them here. Oh my God. So here is Vampin' Lucy Long. And this is Perry Bradford and his original Jazz Hounds. Perry Bradford was not from Pittsburgh, but he was the guy that created the entire race record craze in 1921. He started hiring black women to sing blues records, and hence we get Ma Rainey and Bessie Smith and all the big classic ones. But he also had these other bands, and one of the trumpet players that is with him is this guy Thornton Brown. Thornton Brown is one of these forgotten trumpet musicians from Pittsburgh. Every liner note that you will see will say, "It is a pity nothing is known about Thornton Brown. He certainly is a great trumpet player." The single most valuable record that I have here is this. And this is the first recording of a jazz band from Pittsburgh. This is Lois Depp's Symphonian Serenaders featuring Earl Hines, fresh out of Shenley High School. It is in this special box because this is one of 5 copies known in the world. One of 5. And this is the absolute best copy in existence. This was the file copy from Jeanette Records. It is practically pristine. And guess how much I paid for this? Come on, guess. Guess. Come on, Wendy. It's to be fun. Would you like to call in a lifeline?
$400.
Guess again.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
1,000.
Guess again.
5,000.
Lower. $4,000. $4,000 for that one record. That's why I'm not going out of that box. But it's because it's one of 5 left in the world, and it's a really important artifact for forgotten Pittsburgh. And in these shelves are dozens of musicians from Pittsburgh who we have forsaken. Kenneth Anderson, the pianist that's with Doc Cook's Dreamland Orchestra. Bass Hill, who was the tuba and bass player on a bunch of Chocolate Dandy records, all here. And probably the most horrific abandonment are the Russin brothers. Jack Russin and Babe Russin. I have some LPs by Babe Russin over here in this other set, but these guys were hugely important musicians from the 1920s all the way up until the 1980s. Jack Russin started playing in the 20s with the California Ramblers. He played in the style that would have been popular in the mid-1920s, playing in the style like the 20s pianists would be doing. Then as the 20s move along, he becomes enamored of Joe Sullivan, the great Chicago piano player. So he starts playing like that. As the 30s come along, he starts incorporating Teddy Wilson's ideas into what he does. He has a career that goes all the way until he died. Do you know who he was playing for during the end of his life? He moved out to California. He was the only piano player to play the private parties of Frank Sinatra.
Oh, well, we know Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra was his piano player, and he sounded, if you remember Johnny Costa from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, he had evolved to that sort of state of just being able to play this beautiful, florid, just gorgeous sounds, and he had evolved to that point. And we have neglected all of these people. And this is one of the big things that I am attempting to do with the Hot Club of Pittsburgh. So I have the Allegheny City Ragtime Orchestra, not a slop-together piece of crap Dixieland band, but people from the ballet and the opera and the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestras playing authentic orchestrations from the turn of the century, specializing in all of the forgotten ragtime composers of Pittsburgh.
And how can people see that?
You can hire us. No, you can go to YouTube and look up Allegheny City Ragtime Orchestra, and you'll see us performing a lot of pieces by forgotten Pittsburgh composers.
And if people really want to learn more about these composers, besides joining the Hot Club, is there any other resource, the libraries? Is there anywhere they can search this information out?
Not at the moment. So I am the keeper of the knowledge.
So it's very important that if you're interested in this, that you join the Hot Club so that you can get more information and you can be educated by Tom Roberts.
And talk with me. You know, look at this. This is a friendly person. I'm not an arrogant person. Am I an arrogant person?
No.
Look how much fun we've had today.
You're very enthusiastic and passionate.
Indeed. Come to me. I'll tell you all about this stuff. There's so much amazing stuff here that I am dying to share with you all.
So if you are a person that would be very interested in learning about early jazz or ragtime or any sort of thing about music in the early 1900s.
Even up to now, it's all me. Here it is.
Please join the Hot Club. Follow Tom Roberts on Facebook. Follow
Tom
him
Roberts,
on his website.
That's right, TomRobertsPiano.com. And the Wikipedia entry. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom Roberts.
That was fun.
Why go anywhere else for classic movies?